He prickles and shakes his head. Oh no. Hello everyone. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to Crystalline. We're gonna continue our adventures into the land of, I forget what the name is. Is it Alaria? We'll find out in a minute. I'm shaken awake again. A soft groan escapes as I blink from the blinding sun. Liana hovers over me and I groan softly. That's right. She doesn't know about my impromptu midnight training session. I guess I better get ready to spar. Stifling a yawn, I crawl out of bed and join Liana out in the field. We practice our sparring until my muscles are sore and Liana has broken out in sweat. Neither of us managed to knock the other one down this time, leaving us in a draw. When we return to the campsite, Kara and Zach are nowhere to be seen. Ooh, I wonder what they're doing. Amelia looks up. She's crouched behind the fire pit with the pango nuzzled between her neck and shoulders. Oh, something suspicious. Huh, that's weird. Kara usually sleeps in, and Zach sticks around to make everyone breakfast. I wonder where they could have gone. Amy sparks a fire. We hang out on the iron pot of the flames, and Amelia waves her hand. Cool water rushes from her palm and splashes inside. She smiles, pleased with herself, and raises the crackling flames to make the water boil faster. Gingalaine watches on with interest at Amy's skill. After a while, I see Zach and Kara approaching us from a distance. As they get closer, I can see Kara retying her chestnut hair into a ponytail. There are a few leaves sticking up in Zach's hair, and by the time they reach us, I notice his face has a little bit more colour than usual. Oh. Liana watches them with a suspicious look, but she doesn't say anything. Amy is too preoccupied with stirring the porridge to notice. Hi. Kara seems to be in a good morning. I haven't seen her smile this much in a while. Her eyes are brighter, like a cat's. She stands on her tiptoes and picks a few leaves out of Zach's messy hair. Is it me, or does he have a few extra scrapes than usual? I can see the tail end of a scarlet scratch torn across his collarbone, curling out from underneath the top of his shirt. His coat is a little lopsided too, like he put it on in a hurry. Ooh, they've been doing something only adults know what. Kara smiles and brushes some dirt off of his broad shoulders. I lift an eyebrow. Hey, where did you guys go? Zach's face starts to flush. Oh, I raise an eyebrow. So where is it? Zach blinks. The blush brightens in his cheeks. Kara's gaze slides up to Zach's face. The corner of her mouth tugs upwards. Oh! Deary me, this is, awkward. I choke and mask it into a cough. Liana looks confused. Zach's cheeks seem to have gone up in flames. His face is ruby red. He avoids eye contact and forces out an uncomfortable cough. Amelia finally looks up from her breakfast and stares at the scene. She glances between Zach and Kara and then back at Zach. Her gaze lingers. Zach shifts under her stare, clearly uncomfortable. Amy's eyes seem to be boring into his skin. After a long silence, she tilts her head. Zach blinks. She points. He chokes and shoves the collar of his jacket up to cover his throat, but to no avail. I can still see it. He has a hickey. Liana glances to where Amelia's pointing. A second later, her face grows pink. Kara feigns innocence. Her eyes are full of mirth as Liana fidgets. Her eyes flick to Kara's smirk. Oh dear. Gingalain looks from Kara to Zack to Leanna's bony face and bursts into laughter. Put that in your stories, Gingalain. Zack brushes past as he reaches for the plates. Kara is a step behind him. Gingalain leaves and returns with a few walnuts and berries. He adds them into our porridge for some extra flavour. I have to admit, it'd be pretty bland without them. The rest of our breakfast is passed in uncomfortable silence. Kara casts long glances at Zack, who pretends not to notice. Leanna looks at anyone but the two of them, while Amy seems as oblivious as ever. Only Gingalain seems to be thoroughly enjoying himself. And in case you are as oblivious as Amy, they did the Devil's Tango, the hanky-panky. Our breakfast is over. Once breakfast is over, we clean up the camp and continue on our way to the water temple. Ooh, we're going to the temple today. The path crunches under our feet. The sky is clear and the sun scatters its fingers like crowns over the top of the trees. I can see the mountains in the distance, the jagged ridges sprawled out along the horizon like ocean waves. When I start to break out into a slight sweat, we find ourselves surrounded by the mountains. Ooh. I gaze up from the range of sharp peaks like dragon teeth. Others disappear high into the clouds. Oh, wow. We stop in the hollow of a mountain. The air smells of jasmine and salt. I pause, my eyes falling on a wide cave mouth. Is that the entrance? Gingling beams. We cautiously enter the cavernous entrance. Ooh, pretty. Blue lights flicker across the cave wall as a faint glow radiates. I take another look and see a large staircase leading down into deep, dark water. Wait a second. Are we going underwater? Gingling nods. Underwater temples are a whole lot of nope. Agreed. Anything underwater is just dangerous. Like, why? Good thing I swim lake. Swim lake of fish. Yes. Then a frown. That's true, but we are currently out of options. Yes. Good guy. I fish we know what else we could do. Kara and I share a grin. Zack face palms while Leanna's mouth flattens. See, you're useful. Gingly looks at her and grins. Winky face. He closes his eyes and puts a hand over his chest. Leanna's eyes light up. She claps. Gingling smiles, earnest and embarrassed. Are you guys ready? Leanna nods. Yep, she says. Gingling leads us down the stairs. Barnacles, seaweed and mussels cling to the dark grey stone. The water ripples at our feet as I look out. It only becomes deeper. Amy steps forward, her manipulators glowing. She waves her arms in the air as Gingling takes a step forward in the water. It moved out the way of his boot. He grins. His grin broadens as the water flows around him, keeping him wrapped in a dry bubble. Amelia remains in the bag with her manipulators glowing. We travel ahead of her and continue down the stairs. As we descend further down, I glance up at the shimmering water which slips easily around us. Small schools of fish scurry past, bobbing as they swim around us. That sounds cool. Soon the stairs level out. We follow a shallow corridor which opens up into the mouth of a large cavern. Several tunnels branch off in different directions around the cavern, but it's too dark inside to see where they may go. Ooh, not pretty. Blue crystals glitter all across the cavern. Some cling to the ceiling like icicles, while others are spread across the walls like frost. Ooh, that's so pretty. Boy, indeed. The Pango pops his head out from inside of Amelia's pouch. His eyes light up with wonder. What? She points to something behind me. Amelia crosses to a few crystals that are glowing along the ground. She fidgets with her bracelets, the symbols lighting up as she scans them. What is? Spheres of what? If that's not the case, then how come no one else came here to mine them? Amelia doesn't even turn around to face me, completely absorbed with the crystals. She touches one of the crystals. Her bracelet glows firelight bright. Ice creak underneath her touch, and then I hear a sharp snap. A bit of the sapphire cracks off, and her eyes brighten. She holds the piece up, examining it from side to side. I'm confused. We've seen crystal before. They're all over, powering up every single city we've been to. Is there something special about water crystals? Amelia shakes her head. The Pango leaps out of her pouch and nibbles on a large crystal. He wobbles, obviously content. Leanna, Zack, and Kara wander around and check out the crystals. The deep blue reflects off of the water and sparkle dancing lights across the cavern space. It reminds me of a disco ball. The effect is a bit mesmerizing. Gingelan turns down one of the tunnels. I wonder how he knows. I look to where he's going. Something flickers in the depth of one of the tunnels. Something silvery and bright. I follow Gingelan into the tunnel where my shadows bumps into a slick surface. Ow! My brows furrow. We're inside of a cave, so why was this wall so smooth? I reach up and touch cool glass. A mirror? I look around. No. A whole room full of mirrors. My breath catches in my throat. Hundreds of reflections blink back at me. Guys, are you seeing this? No response. Guys. I turn around. No one is there. I notice the walls in our previous path are also lined with mirrors. How did I walk through that without noticing before? Did the others do the same? I could have gone anywhere. This wasn't just a room. It was a maze. Everywhere I turn, I see myself. I run my hands over the mirrors to keep myself grounded, but with so many reflections, I have a hard time keeping track of where I'm going. It just feels like I'm going in circles. I let out a small growl of frustration, turning around. Something purple flashes from the corner of my eye, then something white. Kara? I turn to see her and Leanna standing at the end of the path. Kara grins and waves at me. I grin back, excitement flooding into my chest. Finally, I dash towards them and slam face first straight into a mirror. I lurch backwards, cupping my nose. I hear footsteps behind me. A blush crawls into my face. Yeah. My nose throbs with pain, but I didn't hit the wall enough to leave any real damage. The three of us jump and whirl around. Amelia cracks her head and stares at me. Where did you come from? Oh. Did you see the others? Her gaze lingers on me again. Leanna twists her hand nervously. Maybe we should find a way out. We might run into them. Either way, it's better than just standing here admiring ourselves in the mirror. See, I can be smart. We twist in and out of the maze. For a while, it feels like we're making progress. We go down a long path leading straight to... She places her hand on the mirror in front of us. I look up. Something shimmers inside of the mirror. Foggy at first, but then it slowly becomes clear. Letters brighten and form together to create a single word. Us? Kara blinks. She frowns, resting a hand on her hip. Like that. Something to do with us. I glance at Amelia, who wears an intense stare. What do you think, Amy? She shrugs, but her voice doesn't answer. I guess we move on then. We turn around and try again. The second one takes us longer to find. We keep twisting and turning in circles before Leah ultimately reaches out and accidentally pats against a solid mirror at the end of a corridor. The letters breathe and flare up again. They form a new word. Among Us. Leanna frowns. Her brow crinkles together. I don't know, but it's pretty sus. They're really stressing something that has to do with us. I'm not sure I like the sound of that. Amy hangs back and watches silently. She feels my eyes on her and shifts her gaze onto me. I feel like her stare is a challenge, but I don't know why. Amelia takes her gaze off of me, and I look at Kara instead. Oh. She's not the real Amy. Quick! Press the button! We need a group talk! Well, this is still a dead end, so let's move on. Shush, phone. We turn around again, bumping into even more mirrors. I keep getting turned around. Are we taking the same hall or going down new corridors? My hand reaches out and I skim across the silhouette mirrors as we walk. Amy remains silent and seemingly unconcerned. Her gaze continues to bore into me, making me even more nervous than I already was. We come to another dead end with more letters slowly appearing. Illusion. It's a message. The words are just jumbled up. Illusion among us. No, it's illusion among us. Yana frowns, sort of looking nervous. Kara raises her eyebrows. There was nothing else with us, just each other. Not something. Someone. Leanna flinches. I'm pretty sure it's Amelia. I think it's Amy. That is what makes me think that. Her brows crinkle in confusion. You aren't talking like one of the science textbooks. Amy doesn't use contradictions or shy away from a challenge. Surprise flickers behind her eyes. Plus, you keep staring at me and it's weird. Amy blinks and a crocodile smiles, treads across her face. She shivers as she steps backwards into a mirror. Was that literally among us? When I look through, her image dissolves into water, into the milky silver of the glass. When I look again, my own reflection stares back at me. Well, that was unsettling. The mirrors flash a blinding white. I cringe and cover my eyes as bright spots do. Acrobats in front of my nose. I hear the sound of something shimmering, and when I look up, I see the maze dissolve into starlight. The tunnel returns to a straight path. We travel down it for a short while before before seeing familiar faces. I blink, my eyes still refocusing from the sudden light. My vision clears. I see Zach, Amelia, and Ginglain heading our way from across the room. Kara rushes over to Zach. Leanna lets out a loud breath of relief. Amelia blinks. Yep. Leanna smiles. Ginglain returns Leanna's smile. As Leanna talks, Zack makes sure to look anywhere except at her. Even Kara knows her eyes. He prickles and shakes his head. Oh no. I'm guessing their mirror was Leanna, and she might have hit on Zack. Gingerlane looks from Zack to Kara and lets out a hearty laugh. Oh dear. What exactly happened on your side? Why? Wait, but Leanna was on our side. How so? I look over at Zack, who's now avoiding contact with both Leanna and Kara. Leanna's face turns crimson red. Zack's face matches Leanna in redness. Hey, that's not nice. Oh, that's not nice. That is the best. Leanna pouts. Kara whirls around to face Leanna. Leanna's eyes widen. She shakes her head. See, it's even emboldened. Yeah. Kara frowns. Oh, wouldn't it banter? My body prickles. The image of Leanna and Zack together causes a hot band of jealousy deep within my gut. Of course, Leanna's my waifu. Get your own waifu. Leanna, why? She wants to face me, looking flabbergasted. Leanna lifts her arm into the air, exasperated. Kara and I glare at her suspiciously. Kara and Leanna stiffen. They turn to face him, eyes hardening into a glare that could slice through all the crystals in the cave. Zack balks. Hey, you took this hole, you have to now say. England's spine suddenly locks. Kara and Leanna freeze. Everyone stops to listen. There's the sound of rushing water. Is that a waterfall? We follow the source of the noise. It becomes louder and louder the further we travel. Soon we come across a temple ruined deep within the cavern. I walk up to the steps into the temple. The others follow. A sapphire pool sits at the center of the room. Waterfalls rush and flow into it as crystals glitter and sparkle all around. I'm having a bad reading day. I stare at the pool as it begins to ripple and shift. A dark shadow ascends from the depths. Hey, that's kind of hard. Look at that. She's blue, dabba-dee, dabba-die. A woman rises like a sea nymph, water slurring down her body. I flinch in surprise. Oh, hi? A woman opens her eyes. A soft smile curves her face. Dark, midnight blue hair flows like wild waves down to her lower back. That's beyond her lower back. A thick film of water covers her, while making her look otherworldly, embraced by the soft glow of the crystals. Ooh, pretty. Pretty eyes. She must be the water elemental. Really? Her laughter sounds like a stream gurgling over precious pearls. The sound echoes deep within my chest and fills me with a strange calm. As she steps towards me, I take a step back but trip over a loose stone and fall backwards. Undeterred, she extends her hand and gently cups my face. She leans closer to me, and before I know it, a cold splash of pressure is on my lips. My eyes automatically close as I drink in her energy. She tastes like pure spring water, and I feel a stream of energy flowing to me, crisp and fluid. I got kissed! Woo! All too soon the feeling ceases, and when I open my eyes, she's gone. Liana hovers over me. I guess when I see her and against my will, a blush blossoms in my cheek. Oh, hi, Liana. Yes. Do I brag? She came onto me! Business as usual. Let's pay the instant card. Oh, you know, pretty well, actually. Just business as usual. She gives me a strange look. Just standard energy transfer procedure. She crosses her. Ah, damn right now. She definitely knows swings up. Maybe steps up to me and full scans with her manipulator. She hovers by my face and her brow creases into a frown. What? Damn you, traitor! And it blinks before her eyes widen. No! It's all a misunderstanding! Well... It's not like I had a choice. She was already transferring the energy. Hey, I'm the victim here. Besides, you flirted with Zach. Luckily, Kara and Zach return, their pockets heavy with items. Gingling returns too, although he remains empty-handed. Nothing! I scramble to my feet. I think we spent enough time here already and should get going. Gingling hides his laughter and nods. I like this group. This group's fun. Liana and Amy lead the way back out the temple, while Gingling and I follow close behind. Kara and Zach take one last scan of the area afterwards. They follow us out and we start heading back the way we came. Without the illusion test, the exit is just a clear path down the tunnel. The maze has completely disappeared. I guess the Guardian was the one who put the maze in, as part of that trial. It was a very simple trial. As we travel through the tunnel, I freeze when I hear the faint sound of voices. Catching Liana's eye, she wordlessly motions for us to stay low. Zach responds with an imperceptible nod. We creep carefully towards the mouth of the tunnel and hide behind the towering stalagmites. Kara, Zach, Gingling are on the other side, while Liana, Amy and I are on the other. The bagger flattens himself as low as possible on the ground. Peeking around the corner, I see a group of about a dozen people or so, bustling back and forth. The clinking of pickaxes echo through the cave, as some of the men chip at the rocks. One of the men removes a luminescent crystal from the cavern side and carries it over to a receptacle. They're collecting water crystals. Liana and Amina look equally concerned. Liana already has her manipulator ready for a scan. When she sees the result, her jaws clenches. She shows Amy, who frowns. I drop my voice to a whisper. What is it? Void. That's the dog people. I peer out again. In the middle of the cave are a group of cloaked figures. As one shifts, I spot double manipulators on his arm. A mage caster. It makes sense that they need someone who knows water magic to reach the temple, but that's still some serious power. They're packing for a mining operation. If this is just a mining operation, why are there mages? It doesn't look like they're set up yet. I scan the area. There are a few scouts on lookout on the main cavern entrance. A couple of mages and a handful of miners. No one seems to have detected our presence yet. Zach motions toward us, catching our attention. He signals that we should flank them and attack. Liana nods. Zach and Kara begin to creep closer to the tunnel opening. Leanna and Amy confer. Amelia nods and her manipulator glows. As Leanna readies herself, we begin to move in. I ready my sword and feel the tingle of magic in my fingers. Once everyone is in position, Amelia lets loose a fireball, which lands square in the back of the mage caster. Zack and Kara race out and engage with the nearest miners. Ginglain rushes towards the entrance to take care of the guards, while Leanna and I charge the mages. It's time for a mini-game! Click the matching icons. Alright. Swords! Axe! Shield! Double swords! A helmet! And an axe! And double swords! I win! Yay! I defeat the last void member, and he drops to the ground. Panting hard, I survey the fallen void members. My adrenaline still high. None of them stir. So everyone trickles back together, checking that no void members are still conscious. We all nod. Garrett and Leanna begin to organize the fallen crystals when we hear shouting down one of the tunnels. What's that? The shouting ceases, but we hear the thunder of footsteps, and before long a group of about 20 men surround us. Zack shoots at the nearest men, but replace the ones who fall. Leanna and Amelia shoot blasts of energy at anyone who tries to surround us, but the men keep closing in. Kara throws a handful of daggers at anyone who approaches, and I channel my energy and blast anyone who comes too close. Although our efforts are formidable, the enclosing reinforcements seem endless. As one man falls, another body soon replaces him. They close in on us until we are standing back to back. Our breathing is laboured, and we struggle to hold off the men. Ginglain closes his eyes, and when he opens them, they flash purple. His entire body is encased in a violet glow, beginning from a spot on his necklace beneath his throat. His voice is harsh and throaty. Unlike his usual smooth, velvety tones, he waves his arms and elongated shadows extend from his fingertips, pushing back the invading voices. Forces, even. Void men groan as they knocked backwards. Before they could get back up, Ginglain points and shadow magic channels out of his hands, colliding square into the enemy's chests. They collapse to the ground as more men swarm in. Ginglain mutters a few words and throws out his hands again. This time, as the energy channels out of him, it morphs into a phantom claw, which swipes the nearest group of void members. I watch, stunned, as Ginglain moves in a blur, dodging attack from all of the void team. Zack occasionally shoots at anyone who gets too close to him, but soon the attention shifts away from us entirely as everyone targets Ginglain. He barely seems to notice the numbers of men against him as one by one they fall, until a pile of unconscious bodies lay at his feet. Once the lanceman falls, Ginglain lowers his arm and ceases his magic. His eyes return to normal as he looks at our slack-jawed stares. But darkness! Slowly we shake our heads. Ginglain looks apologetic. He looks down and hides the locket that fell out of his shirt during battle, but not before Leanna notices it. Suddenly both Leanna and Amelia gasp. Ginglain smiles sheepishly. Who is he? What's going on? I remember seeing that name somewhere. I racked my brain trying to remember. Oh, from the Heroes of Assaria exhibit. Robin Ostegard. I thought he was dead. He gives us our smile. His voice chokes up and he pauses as he composes himself. I think back to the story he told around a campfire. That must have been his story. Robin's story. No wonder he holds such high respect from the people of Vesaria. He truly does care more about the well-being of his country rather than his own needs. I don't know if I'd be able to so easily give up the temptation of fame and glory. Robin shakes his head, and an urgency returns to his voice. Hey, his name's changed. That must have been when their operations began back when he was still part of Void. I immediately look at Liana when he mentions absorbing energy. Liana looks just as alarmed as I do. She's about to retort when Robin stops her. He turns to me. I feel the earnestness in his voice and it empowers me. That makes life easy. Robin and Amelia talk further as he points out the exact location of the Santa Temple. I survey the fallen Void members around us. What exactly should we do about these guys and the crystals? He'll kill them. He shakes his head. Robin puts on a bittersweet grin. Farewell. After we say our goodbyes, Amelia conjures up some bowls for us to travel back through the water. We hurry up the stairs until we return to the valley within the mountains. While the team debate on next steps, I remain quiet. Void is also on the rise, and the team needs my help to defeat them. But I have energy from 4 temples now, and I have a feeling that this should be enough energy to open a rift and return back home. If I even can return home, Amelia's warning about my casting resilience is on the forefront of my mind. It nibbles on my fall and feeds on my fear. If I try to open a rift there, there's a very real possibility that I won't survive the channeling of so much energy. The faces of my family remind me of what I've left behind. How long have I been gone? Are they worried about me? My gaze wanders to Liana. My heart flutters whenever I see her big blue eyes fall on me. Her smile makes me feel like I'm walking on air. I love her caring nature and the way she keeps me grounded. Now that I know her, I can't imagine a life without her. Terror feels just as real as my home on Earth. What would happen if I left them here to defeat Void without me? Would they be okay without me? Or would I just be setting them up for failure? Do I go home? Or do I stay and fight? Well, we are heroes. We shall stay and fight. I can't go home now. There's too much to be done here, and I care too much about these people to turn away from them in their time of need. I glance at Lena. There's no way I can let her down. I'll look into going home after we defeat Void. I grin. Let's go kick some Void butt. The others stop their planning and turn to me. Leanna matches my grin. We all agree. We travel through the mountains until we find a soft, grassy place to make camp. It's dusk by the time we've gathered all the ingredients for dinner. Leanna helps me prepare our meal as the others are gathered around the map. She stokes the fire with her wind magic. The flames burst higher, crackling and heating up us too. The firelight casts an orange glow across her beautiful face. I smile and lean in to kiss her on the cheek. She squeaks, and my lips come into contact with something cool and hard. I blink, and my lips have kissed her gauntlet instead. What's wrong? My words are muffled. Lips moved against her palm. Leanne's voice lowered to a hush. I glance at her. They seem to be too absorbed in the map to even notice. Does that matter now? She blushes, and I gently take her hand in mine. Leanna freezes. She glances at my hands covering hers. Another faint blush heats her cheek. She shakes her head. Odd joy unfurls in my chest, and a grin spreads across my face. I glance at the group and then back to her. If we acknowledge we're dating to the group, maybe Leanna would be more comfortable acting like a real couple in front of everyone. Maybe we should tell them we're dating? Leanna turns a darker shade of red. She bites her lip, hesitating. I squeeze her hand. Her blue eyes flick up to meet mine. Let's do it! She squeezes back. A smile graces her lips. I mean, that was definitely getting the message across. Show, don't tell. Let's make out. One of us should tell them. Let's just let it happen naturally. Well, I kind of want to go with that one. Let's go with the bold statement. With our hands still interlocked, I pull her close to me. She gasps as her chest presses up against mine. Our lips are inches away from each other. As her blue eyes meet mine, I press our lips into a passionate kiss. She squeals against me and breaks the kiss. I grin devilishly as I pull her back to me. Letting the team know we're dating. I mean again, but she shakes her head. I am telling them. I sigh. Fine. Let's go. Gee, but such a shy little thing she is. I took her to a stand, gently leading her to the group. Nerves flutter in my stomach as we approach. Hey, you guys. Everyone looks up. The pango blinks from the top of Millie's head. We have an announcement. Guy raises an eyebrow. Yes. They stare, waiting for me to continue. I glance at Leanna, her blue eyes shimmering with confidence. She nods, encouraging me to go on. I suck in a deep breath. Leanna and I are dating. Everyone, including the pango, blinks. She turns to face the map again. The rest of the team follows suit. Hey! Did you even hear what I said? The party looks up. Sam crosses his arm. So? Don't you care? A fox grin slides across Kara's face. He had a box. I mean, it was kind of obvious they knew. Shock floods me. How did you find out? I think of all the times Liana masked my advances, all the secret glances we took to make sure no one was looking. Kara's eyes spark with mirth. Heat scorches in my face. I turn to look at Liana and notice her face is just as red as mine. Kara giggles as pleased as a cat in the sun. Say I was right. Amy cocks her head, deep in thought. The panger lets out a little squeak as he slips onto her shoulder. You didn't know, finally. It is? She nodded. Oh wow. Emily turns to look at her. Babies! Her eyes shimmer with stars as she imagines our future children. Zach gives her a strange look and tries to hide in the background. What? Babies? Oh, Liana, let's get started. Well, now you guys know. Storks deliver. Oh, I kinda want to torment her. Let's torment her a little. I wrap my arms around her waist and pull her onto my side. They're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, we should get started right now. Leanne's glare bores into my skin. I burst into a cold sweat. What? She walks away. Hey, that was a joke, right? Right? Kara laughs. Well, I'll confess you, one is as dramatic as I thought it was going to be. I wonder what when they first started figuring it out. I'm going to go check on the stew. Leo and I return to the stew. Once everything's done cooking, we ladle our bowls out as everyone joins us for dinner. Dinner is strange without Gingling. Kinda miss his stories. After dinner, Liana and I turn early for bed. Liana seems to fall asleep quickly, but I can still hear her snickering and planning out our next course of action. I groan and pull my pillow over my ears. It takes a while, but eventually I fall asleep. Well, that was certainly a interesting session, wasn't it? Lots of romantic interest. And now the party know the truth about Liana and I. We are forever dating now. Right. So, thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, give a sub, put a comment. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Love you all.